welcome to Knights of Roleplay, an adventuring podcast. This is an actual play 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons podcast. Royalty-free music provided by Kevin MacLeod, Plate Mail Games, and Tabletop Audio. And now, to adventure. Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Buckner. I'm the primary Dungeon Master for Knights of Roleplay, an adventuring podcast. As our adventure begins, it is Stardate 1018.82. The party, guided by a magical astrolabe, is on a journey to find an ancient ship called the Spelljammer. The astrolabe has led the party to a distant planet where they found a passage to a strange, alternate dimension in the base of a tree. Once there, they defeated a group of strange creatures with heads like flower buds that opened into toothy petals. After the battle, the party went into Strax's rope trick for a short rest. So, adventurers, how would you like to proceed?
Well, if we're done here, I'm just going to stick my head out of the rope trick and see what we got going on around us.
Oh, we got a viewing thing out of the rope trick too, right?
Yeah. You can see out of it, right?
So.
Yeah, it's just a hole in the floor. You can stick your head out.
Stick our head out of the hole.
Yeah.
So you see the same sort of dark, twisted landscape that you saw before when you went in. There don't appear to be any creatures in the immediate area.
Well, I think they're gone. At least as far as our immediate vicinity.
I don't think there's anything to do but to keep following where the astrolabe points and see.
Genius. Let's
Right.
go.
So.
Okay. So everybody's done your short rest, done all your hit dice and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to continue to follow the astrolabe.
You look itchy over there, Sarah.
I am for some reason.
Oh.
And I just got my nails done, so like the polish makes them all dull.
Oh.
So it's not like satisfying, like itching.
Okay. So, as you continue to follow the astrolabe, you travel for about an hour through the twisted reflection of the forest planet. In the distance, through the dense forest, you see what looks like a wall. As you get closer, it appears to be a translucent barrier of some kind. It rises up past the canopy of the trees and seems to have an ever so slight curvature to it. On the opposite side of the barrier, you see a city full of technology, populated entirely by tall, lanky, blue giants. Most of them are wearing robes, but a handful are wearing armor. You recognize them as the Arcane, the race known for supplying spelljamming equipment to the known universe. You have seen the Arcane on the Rock of Brawl, but behind this barrier you see no races other than the Arcane. How would you like to proceed?
Okay, just to clarify, when you say that the barrier kind of curves away, does it like curve away from us like it's the dome, or curve towards us like we're in the dome?
It curves away from you.
Like it's the dome, okay.
Ever so slightly, yeah. As you look up, I mean, you can barely perceive it. If you look up, you can barely perceive that there's a little bit of curvature to it.
Oh boy.
Oh no, not another freaking dome.
I think we should try the civil path. Let's see if we can get somebody's attention if there's a doorway or something. And...
Nah, we should hide everybody in the rope trick and then see if we can get it to them about it. I think we can make it work this time.
No!
Or we could just go and touch it.
I touched the dome.
Who's carrying the astrolabe?
I guess I'm carrying the astrolabe because I got
the bag of holding.
Because I got the bag of holding.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Janie goes up and you touch the dome and it feels kind of smooth like glass.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Strax, you touched the dome.
I don't want to touch the dome. I've already touched the dome. Let's see if we can find a door.
Give me the astrolabe.
No, you'll break it.
Arvine elbows you and takes the astrolabe.
Rude.
Well, hold on. Are you allowing her to do that? Because otherwise it's a contested roll.
No, I'm keeping the astrolabe.
Okay, if you want to make opposed strength checks. She's trying to grapple it away from you.
Can she try to take it away with acrobatics, or is it always strength?
We're going to say it's strength. If you have athletics, you can use athletics.
Okay. All right.
Try not to bet a game, because he asked the question.
All right. Yep. Okay. 23.
Janie's got like a plus 6 in
29.
Arcana.
For real?
No.
All right, so
Wait, how do you get? What is your? How do you do?
I have a +6 in athletics.
He said, "Oh, athletics."
athletics, yeah.
Athletics. Oh, you must be proficient in athletics.
Strength athletics, yeah.
Okay, because I only have +3 in athletics.
Okay, so Irene wrestles the astrolabe away from Strax.
Wait, Janie has like
mind?
a +6 in Arcana. She would guess that if they made the astrolabe, it might be a key to this dome. I would think.
So you give it to Janie?
Yes, Irene rolls her eyes at Strax and says, "Stop being a punk to your sister," and she hands it off to Janie.
Okay.
Okay, so with the astrolabe in hand, does anything happen if I touch the dome?
You get within a couple feet of the dome with the astrolabe, and you see a tall rectangular door that's 12 feet tall by 6 feet wide. It appears in the dome, allowing you access to the inside.
It's only because you knocked.
I don't think you knocked.
I did not.
She just touched it.
Not 3 times.
Okay, so there's this very, very tall door right in front of you in the dome.
I think this is the way in. She
Yeah, but-
says, looking at you.
Fine, but do
With
we
disdain.
actually want to go in? We've never actually had to deal with these people. I don't know what they're like. They may just look at us and say, "What are you doing here?" and squish us.
Is this where the ship is?
Well, we know the ship is in that direction. How do we know it's not on the other side? We can walk
Well,
around.
if what we want is the ship and they made it and it's pointing this way, I think this is where we need to go.
You're making a lot of assumptions
And
there.
plus, the door is very big, so that would lead me to believe that the ship is going to go through it.
Well, the door's only
Or that
12
it was
feet.
made for them.
The ship is probably bigger than that, but it's made for giant people.
No, the door is 12 feet by 6 feet, Greg.
Oh.
So it's about the size of the giant blue people walking around.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm in favor of taking the chance with these people, because
Fine.
look
well,
what's out here. Do you really want more of this? And then
They weren't. They were punks.
Jeannie walks
No
towards the
problem
door.
Arvine follows.
Fine, but we be cautious.
I check for
cautious?
traps. The look on his head.
I didn't think I gave you any kind of a look.
You did.
Do you
You're
really,
like,
do you really want to check the traps?
Yes.
Okay, do dexterity
I'll
check.
help you.
Do you want to do investigation or perception?
Perception.
Okay. Looking for traps.
Oh, wow.
So
Sandra's dice actually rolled really well. That'd be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Given that it seems to be just like a solid piece of some kind of a magical construct, and it's, there's nowhere, and it's also translucent, you don't see any indication whatsoever that there's some kind of a trap there.
Didn't think there would be.
Is it made out of metal?
No.
No.
Nope.
We're going through the door.
Okay, you're going through the door.
God.
Just at the back door.
Jeannie likes the back door.
Whoa. So as you enter the dome, you see a magical metropolis in front of you. The buildings are made from marble and are beautifully constructed. They all bear carvings and designs that relate to space travel. There are platforms full of arcane floating down marble streets. There are a vast array of passenger vehicles flying through the skies. You see horizontal, translucent discs inside large glass tubes that are transporting groups of arcane to the various levels of tall buildings in the area. Amidst all this technology, you see parks with beautiful landscaping. An arcane in green and blue robes sees you and approaches with curiosity. They say, "Hello, I'm Galmor. Welcome to Tahl'Maylar, city of the arcane. How did you find your way to our lovely city?"
Dumb luck.
How is his name pronounced again?
His name is Galmore. Galmore. Galmore.
We are on a quest to find something.
No, we're not. We just stumbled across this place. We thought it looked cool.
Please excuse me for being cautious. It's just that we don't get visitors, especially ones that could find a way to get through the dome. How did you find your way through our magical barrier?
Irene kind
It was
of
open.
gently nudges Janie. Show them.
No.
They built the ships.
So we just trust every Tom, Dick, and Harry that walks up to us.
You don't know that they built the Spelljammer,
Okay.
but you know that they deal in spelljamming technology, like spelljamming helms in particular.
How do we...
Janie looks at her brother and telepathically says very, very sternly, "You're not allowed to talk."
I reply back with this, how do you know they're just not going to take it?
I don't. Inner mind. But you're not allowed to talk.
You're not allowed to tell me not to.
We need to show them how it is that we came through the dome, or they're much less likely to trust us.
Galmore seems a little confused as Strax and Janie are staring at one another.
Kelmore.
In their banter.
Hello, Mr. Kelmore.
Hello?
My name is Janie. I am very confused as to how we got here, too. We're on a journey. We've been looking for something that we've been told is very valuable and dangerous. And we were led here by an artifact. And she holds out the astrolabe.
Okay.
And it seems to have been the key to visiting your city, which is very beautiful and grand, and we are quite out of place here, so you will forgive us and my brother for his rudeness.
I don't need his forgiveness.
That is quite all right. I'm just going to take a look at that. If you could just hold it out for me, please.
It is very dear to us.
Yes, you can hold on to it.
Okay.
If that allowed you access through the dome, I can only assume that it was created by somebody who is a member of the race of Arcane. And he kind of he starts to really take a look at it. He doesn't put his hands on it, but he takes a really strong look at it and kind of puzzles for a minute. He says, yes, I do think that is constructed using our methods. Where did you get this?
I don't even remember.
It is hidden away in a underground temple or something in a cave network on a desert planet.
I don't actually remember either.
We found it on the desert planet.
On the planet.
Yeah, it was on Arrakis.
Right.
It was on Dune.
Yeah, we
lost
It was
our
on Dune.
captain.
Yes, where Captain Braun died,
obtained
yes.
it on a desert planet at great cost to us and our friends.
We have been hunted in our attempts to keep it out of the wrong hands, and we have been told that it is the key to finding something that could very well be from the technologies that your people have brought to the
Why
universe.
don't you give him a key to the forge while you're at it?
Please forgive my brother. He's very angry
And
about life
and protective.
and very protective of our knowledge and our secrets. He's very nervous about the wrong people knowing what we know.
He turns to you and says, I admire your desire for caution and prudence, but there is no threat to you here, none that I am aware of.
So you say.
Yes, so I do. And can you tell me, he turns to Janie and says, can you tell me more about what this astrolabe is meant to find?
I don't believe I told you what it was called yet.
You didn't say astrolabe?
She didn't. She
She
called
called
it an
it
artifact.
Okay, that wasn't on purpose.
Okay, he says artifact.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. I thought
so
you
you
said
were
that.
being shady on purpose.
No.
Okay.
No, he asked you about the artifact, since that's how you referred to it.
We have been told that the artifact is to lead to a ship of great power. The ship of all ships, if you will.
He kind of thinks for a second. Are you referring to the Spelljammer?
Yes.
At this point, you might as well just tell him.
Well, I just did.
I was not aware that there was a way to locate it. You're saying that this is leading you to it?
So far, this has brought us through the skies and brought us to this planet and
Through the tree.
through the tree and through the darkness to right to you.
This is
Well, maybe
very,
not you specifically, but
Yes, this I find this to be very, very fascinating.
Fascinating.
Can you perhaps describe the architecture of the location where you found it?
It was a temple that had many carvings and inscriptions that depicted different types of ships and
Yes, there was like trees and other different glyphs that
none of which helped us.
the hieroglyphics.
Yeah,
and
many.
And
when
we-
you aligned them, they would
take you to different
places,
places.
and
Yes.
Yeah. In some cases,
They were
multiple-
transportation modes, and it was a very civilized culture for being underground in the desert.
Wipe your nose off. When we finally found it, it was
urban stuff.
sort of encased in a protective orb.
I
It
see.
was necessary to get it out due to our circumstances at the time, which are not too different from our circumstances now, come to think of it. But in a sort of magical well, I guess you could call it.
I see. And you said that you've been in some sort of danger as you were pursuing the Spelljammer?
We were being hunted.
Yeah, we're not the only ones coming for us. The Illithids have decided that they want it too. And so we decided that...
Illithids.
Yeah.
Specifically,
The
Brain suckers.
The
The
Illithid
Illithid
race want the
Empire.
Spelljammer?
an organization.
We didn't set out to find the Spelljammer. At this point, we're only looking for it because we're afraid of it falling into the wrong hands. This
see.
Illithid Empire took someone very dear to us in their quest for power, and we're fearful for the rest of the galaxy for what might happen if they were to get too much of it.
And they will stop at nothing, it would seem.
Certainly not the destruction of innocent lives.
Oh, that is somewhat disturbing. I am not aware of a Illithid Empire. I am aware of the race, of course. But I do not believe that they would be able to follow you into this place. We chose this place to put our city in when our sun was going to go supernova. And we needed a place to hide, so we chose this dimension. People do not often come here. When they do not often survive. We thought this would be a safe place.
Not from us.
Perhaps
Please excuse my brother.
You keep saying that. I don't need them to excuse me.
In her mind, she simply says, "You're being very rude."
So,
And you can see the fire in her eyes.
so. Galmar says, "Well, this is very, very fascinating to me. I'm very interested in this. I do believe that it is a member of our species who created this artifact that led you here. Somehow, this member of our race was able to apparently find a way to home in on this most ancient of spelljamming vessels. We have a ruling council made up of 12 members of the Arcane. I would imagine that they would want to speak with you about this.
I'm sure they would.
I am not trying to force your hand. Arcane are the only race that are here. You will stand out And you can all see already that there are people on the streets who are staring at this conversation.
Yes.
There are all these people that are
I
passing
can
by
imagine.
who are just like curious about these
A
about these
bunch of
newcomers.
non-arcane, like
Yeah.
tiny people.
Yeah, yeah, we're somehow in there. So, and you do see that there's a couple of pairs of arcane that are wearing armor that are kind of standing off and keeping an eye. They don't seem to be aggressive. They don't even
need to be.
they don't actually have any weapons that you can see, but they have like breastplate, and they have like greaves, and they have like pauldrons. It's not like a full suit of armor. It almost seems like it's more like for show than anything. They don't really seem like they're warriors, but they seem like they're trying to.
It's like a badge of station.
Kind of, yeah.
Station,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yes, so,
Or a uniform.
yeah. Maybe it's something in their society gives them some kind of
Stature.
or something like that. Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, there's a small crowd that's gathering, but they're sort of keeping their distance. And
Galmore? Was it?
yes, correct.
Galmore.
Yeah, and Galmore says, I would offer to be your escort so that you are at least not traveling by yourselves. You will probably get questioned by countless members of my species if you are not being escorted by someone.
Maybe.
Would you have a desire to speak with the council? I don't want to force your hand, but I don't know that it's prudent to let you just roam the city either.
I think that would be wise. I mean, my instinct, no matter how well protected you think this location is if we found it, the organization that's pursuing us and their leader, who is something of a unique individual himself, they're extremely dangerous. And if we found this place, they could pose a danger to your people too.
He's part machine, part organic, if we're being honest.
His name is Zaxos. I don't know if that name holds any meaning.
No, that does not. But if you got through the dome with this artifact, I don't imagine that even if you were followed, that someone could get through our dome. It is very strong and very powerful.
I hope that's the case, but he commands a fleet of hundreds of ships. His goal is to conquer the galaxy. So,
He does have a lot of power.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want the Spelljammer to fall into the hands of someone like that.
Well, Galmore, so we've kind of told you why we're here. Who are you, and what do you do here?
Let the DM check his notes.
Pause
thinking
for
of that
applause.
question. Good call. Good call.
Let's see. He says, glasses? He says, I am the head of the transportation division. I oversee the construction and maintenance of public transportation. And he points out some of like the platforms that have like dozens of arcane on them, and
So,
they're just moving down
local
the streets.
transportation?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So not actual spell-jamming vessels, just
No.
these platforms and ships coming through here.
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Correct.
So that wouldn't put you on the council.
No, I am not a member of the council. So he says to you, I live in the Zonda district, and you are standing in the Darna district right now. The council is not far if you would like to speak with them. I would recommend that you speak with them, although I don't want to force you to, but...
In your opinion, what would this council do if they suddenly found themselves in possession of an artifact that could locate what is obviously a ship that you yourselves seem to want to actually have?
Well, we don't know who created the Spelljammer. In all of our history, we have no record of any individual or any group that is associated with our species that created the Spelljammer itself.
So it sounds like it's probably something that you would want for no other reason than to study.
I think that the council would be very curious. They may ask you for the artifact, and they may want to locate it and find it and study it. I don't know that they would forcibly take the artifact from you, but I can't say for certain. I would not want to talk ill of the council, but I don't know what the individual people on the council. Some are more strong-willed than others. I'm not 100% sure how to advise you. I mean, you may want to approach with caution if you don't want to go see the council. If you want to try to follow the astrolabe without seeking them, I would just ask that you, again, allow me to escort you. So whether it's to the council chamber or whether it's to simply follow the astrolabe, I will try to guide you in either regard. And I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you. I don't know what the council would do.
No, I think you kind of gave me a pretty rough idea.
Does this council have control or access to any armies or technology that could protect things out at the surface of this planet? Because
big ass dome.
Our ship is out there, and they could be in danger.
Speaking of, are you still able to get in touch with them?
I'll press my communicator and say, Hal, are you able to hear me?
There's no response.
Okay, so
I was kind of afraid of that.
I mean, you technically are in another dimension, so it doesn't seem to cross dimensional barriers.
Speaking to them may have some merit because we could use allies in this venture if we find the ship, to hope that the 5 of us, the 7 of us 6 of us can keep control of it, math, and maintain it and understand it on our own.
Yes, but
in
if
the
they
face
decide,
of an army.
Yes, but they, as you say, they have an army. They have strength. If they decide that they want the astrolabe, are you going to keep it from them?
At least they're not trying to conquer the entire galaxy.
Yet.
If I were to think of people who I'd prefer to help us in the safekeeping of this, it would be them.
We're reading an awful lot into their intentions.
And I think you are also, Strax. I understand your concern, but
I'm trying to avoid their intentions, whatever they may be.
And just like Arvine said, they may be a great ally to us.
Or a great enemy, yeah.
Even you have questionable intentions sometimes, brother.
Ouch.
I think that we might need to choose our battles based on who we know is bad.
Yeah, well, my questionable intentions generally don't lead to the destruction of the known universe. Deliberately.
For the listeners at home, I just gave him the really look.
Kind of turn to Galmore and say, who among your people is responsible for, I guess, creating and outfitting other spelljamming ships out to the universe as a whole? Because this army that is conquering and destroying and chasing us, I mean, they have a fleet of ships. Where did they get them?
That's actually not a bad idea. If we can talk to that person, we can get a better idea of their intentions before going to this council. At least it's easier to run away from one person than 12.
Well, the Arcane do not exclusively produce spelljamming vessels for races. They construct their own from technology that we give them. Sorry, honey, what was your...
I was trying to ask, like, if we could confirm whether this fleet of hundreds of Illithid ships was made by someone in their society or not.
Oh, no. Yeah, the answer I said stands. It's like they make their own ships, by and large, from their technology.
The Arcane made the technology, not the physical ships.
Yeah.
It's not like they're the port that makes the ship.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
There isn't like a shipyard that
They're just
produce
the
the ships
scientists
out of.
that make the technologies that make the ships work.
Yep,
I'm of
correct.
the mindset that we speak to the council, if nothing else, but to ask if there's any way that they can grant protection to our friends on the surface.
I say telepathically to each of them individually. Worst case scenario, we start a fight and run.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Kate, that you're in another dimension and you came through a little hole in a tree. Mm-hmm. So, they're hiding in here in this giant magical dome, in this horrible plane. I mean, you can certainly ask anything you want, but I'm just telling you that it's not like they're on the surface of the planet or something, and
Okay.
you're below the surface of the planet.
It's not actually.
You're in another
okay.
dimension.
Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
So it's not
That was
easily found.
very well hidden.
Yeah.
He legit just told us that they're tucked away somewhere where they're hoping no one will ever find them.
Correct.
And yet.
And
we
that's
did.
why everybody's like staring at us because they're like, how the F did these things get down here?
Exactly.
Well, at least we covered our tracks a bit.
I'm still
Right?
blue, so
Am I
I might
okay.
not
Yeah,
stand out
they,
so much.
they came here for safety to get away so nobody could find them, and there's a bunch of people here who are not arcane who somehow found them.
I still think that we should warn
But
them.
I'm only 7 foot tall, so I'm not quite as tall.
Yeah, you don't quite make the mark.
So Galmar starts to, he says, excuse me, and he starts to go around, and he goes over to the people in the armor, and you don't quite hear what he's saying, but they kind of, you see some heads nodding, and you see some body language that is not negative in any
Hostile.
way. Yeah, it's not hostile, and basically the arcanes sort of start to go about their business. I mean, people are still rubbernecking and kind of paying attention, but Galmar seems to basically be like, everything is fine, we're all fine here, how are you?
Like they're not a threat.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There's nothing to see here.
So people start to
Carry
kind of
on.
disperse a little bit, but there's still a lot of rubbernecking.
Okay.
Are any of them made out of metal?
Jeez.
They've got metal armor.
Oh my god. Can I cast like shut the F up on you?
Yeah.
Oh, I do have hold person.
But there's not such a thing as hold mouth.
No, if you're paralyzed, you're paralyzed.
Yeah.
Mind sliver. Maybe something I can do with
You should make up a spell.
prestidigitation.
You should make up a spell. Shut the F up.
Can I use that as a rule of cool?
So Galmar comes back after he's kind of
cast
quieted the
mute.
crowd down, and he says, "We can proceed however
Love you.
you decide you would like to proceed."
I would vote that we give the council a chance.
All right, well, give me the astrolabe. I'll put it back in the bag. Bag's the best place for it.
Janie hands over the astrolabe. Okay.
I hand over the astrolabe with my eyes rolling so hard. They nearly roll out of my head.
Okay. So, and you guys want to have him take you to the council?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe we have made the decision to see the council.
Okay.
Yes.
Along the way, I see if I can find a decent-sized rock.
Oh my god.
There is a park not too far from where you are, where you could probably go and grab a rock. Yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be a rock. Just something innocuous.
Again, the city and the buildings, everything seems to be largely constructed of marble, as far as the architecture goes.
All right, find a giant marble.
There are lots of machines around that are made of a combination of metal and other objects, and obviously imbued with heavy magic.
Can I use
Prestidigitation.
to make something look like the astrolabe, just in case?
Wait, what?
Oh, you need minor illusion or something.
Yeah.
Use like a minor. Well, the prestidigitation does like minor illusionary effects.
There's a spell called Minor Illusion
Yeah.
that will probably take care of that.
Cast it on something to make it look like the astrolabe in case they try to take it.
A rock.
Can you not just like use a coin or something? What is it you're trying to do?
He doesn't want to tell us because
That's-
he knows we want to kill him.
Okay, well, I would say, like, do you have any objects on your person that you could use for this purpose?
Actually, that's a good question. Maybe something big enough.
Hit it with a rock. Use SDO1.
Matisse knows this Drax is up to something.
So while John's looking that up, passive perceptions, I just want to make sure. Janie, you have a 13.
Yep, still.
Arvine, you're at 22, right?
Yes. Right, yeah.
Strax is 14.
Yeah.
And Matisse, you're at 13.
Yes, I'm dumb as a rock.
Freaking rogues.
So, I mean, as you guys start to move through the city, Arvine, you do see that there are a pair of the arcane that are in the robes who are hanging far enough back that you're not sure if they're trying to hide the fact that they're following you or not.
Okay.
Because it's obvious to you that they're following you.
Okay.
It doesn't look like they're not like going from like cart to cart and jumping around and like trying to be stealthy. But you're pretty sure that they are following you.
Okay. All right, Irving kind of steps in closer to Galmar and says, who are your robed friends? About 50 feet back.
I'm not going to look over my shoulder if you're afraid that they're following us with ill intent, but I probably wouldn't even know who they are by sight. If you want, I can look over my shoulder.
I'll just monitor. We're okay for now.
Very well. I don't know that anybody would try to harm you.
Okay.
I'm the only one who knows why you're really here. I did not share that with anyone.
Okay.
But we are a curiosity.
You are.
And if we're being watched, that's...
Irving's not concerned yet. She's just aware.
It could simply be curiosity.
Yeah.
Janie kind of always walks with a little bit of weird swagger in her step anyway, so she might like start like walking weird and like walk backwards and to get a better look at them. And then she will start speaking to Galmor telepathically and give him a very good description of the visual of those individuals.
Okay.
Would that help him decipher who they are?
So when you speak in his mind, his face kind of lights up for a second. I mean, he heard your voice when you were actually speaking, so he recognizes that it's your voice in his mind.
Well, the first thing she'll say is, please don't be alarmed. I have this ability.
Right, but he's still a little shocked.
Yeah. Okay.
He's still a little shocked.
Please don't be alarmed. I'm going to be
Everybody always
alarmed.
looks alarmed. I have this ability, and in doing this, I will give you the ability to speak back. I wanted to describe these people to you so that we might be able to see if you know who they are.
Okay, I mean, he speaks back and he says, this is really a wonderful ability that you have. Yes, please describe it. I mean, he seems almost like a little kid, like, wow, this is cool. I mean, he's still maintaining his composure.
Like,
but
I know, right?
Yeah, like, he thinks it's pretty cool. So you describe them, and he says that it's one of it's. He doesn't know who they are, but he thinks he saw them in the crowd of onlookers, but they weren't one of the pairs of armed people that he was speaking to when he was trying to calm everybody down. So he doesn't really know who they are.
Their color of robe doesn't distinct, like...
Not particularly. There's no there's no like heraldry or anything on them that he would recognize.
Okay. Cool.
Oops.
But I mean,
It was just a thought,
Yeah.
something she can do that nobody else can, so...
I mean, he says to you, Arvine, he says, I'm impressed with your skills of observation. Let me know if somehow they seem to be taking the aggressive body language, I suppose.
Oh, well.
Again, my people, I would say, as a whole, don't tend toward violence, but this is a very strange occurrence. Again, we came here for privacy, and people might possibly react with a great deal of concern. And I imagine it's nothing more than that. But please keep an eye on them.
Yeah. And Arvine kind of taps her head and looks at Janie. And once you establish the connection, she thinks...
Establish the connection.
Can you or your brother...
Beep, beep, beep. Janie? Janie to Arvine, Janie to Arvine. Come in, Arvine.
Buffering.
She says, from your vantage or your brother's, do either of you have the skill to determine if there's something about our followers that... are they not what they seem?
I don't have the ability to detect magic, but I can ask my brother if he has anything.
To determine if there's illusions on them or something, a glamour, as it were.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like to see if maybe they're like an illithid in disguise. Yeah.
If they're controlled, yes.
I break connection with Arvine and connect with, hey, ass face.
So Strax.
I don't know if you've noticed the murmurings going on up here, but we have a couple of lingerings in the back following us. Galmore is not familiar with who they are, but Arvine is concerned that they might be people in disguise. Is there a way that you could use detect magic to make sure that they're not like
Robots in disguise.
Well, maybe.
To see if they're to make sure they're not like under a glamour or anything. Of course, this is all in like Jamie kind of speak, but you know,
I get you.
When I'm talking in minds, I talk at Sarah. So, you know.
Oh, now you need my help. All right. I'll see what I can see.
Well, you've been an ass face all afternoon, so.
Well, somebody has to be.
If not me, then who?
But mostly you.
Grover. What was his name?
Galmore.
Galmore.
Grover.
Good question. About how far away is this council? About how long is it going to take us to get there?
Maybe another 5 minutes. I'd say it's maybe 4 blocks away from here.
Okay.
Well, doesn't take 10 minutes to
The answer to your
cross
question is no.
that. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
if
well.
they continue to follow us in.
I'll see.
The idea is out there.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you guys, you keep following Galmore through the streets, and everywhere you
Jane
go.
continues to do her weird gallivanting to cover up the fact that she was like skipping backwards. And, like,
Yep. I mean, everywhere you go, people keep rubbernecking, and then every once in a while, Galmore will stop and talk to some people. Sometimes they are just in regular robes. Sometimes they're wearing the robes with the armor. But whenever he seems to see somebody who looks a little more fearful rather than just curious, it seems like he immediately kind of goes over and tries to calm them and let them know that everything is fine. So I mean, he's doing a really good job. You can tell he's making an effort to try to make sure that his people are not afraid. And there are some people who are obviously more scared than curious, and he's trying very hard to calm people. And you can tell that he can't wait till you finally get to the council because then to be indoors. And then you think he's going to have a little sense of relief once you actually get off the street. So you eventually get to this building, this very tall building with a big open archway in the front.
Okay. I'm still thinking of that thing that I was trying to do here.
All right, so you're almost to the council chamber building. John is Johning.
5.
John's going to John a
5
little
and
bit here.
3/4. 5 and 7/8. 5 and 15/16.
Okay, so do you want to jump? Do you want to do the first part when you round a corner? Is that what we're doing, or are you just doing the first part in general?
Just doing the first part in general, since it's going to take a while to do the second part anyway.
Go ahead and do the first part.
Dice, don't fail me now. 16.
16. Okay,
That beats most passives.
it does.
Not yours, obviously.
It doesn't. It doesn't. So you want to tell her what she sees?
That's it. You see me pretend to put the astrolabe into the bag of holding, but instead slip it into my coat pocket.
And that's it for now, right? That's the only part
I
of it.
thought you had already put it away.
Into the bag of holding. That was yes.
You had already put the astrolabe into.
I think he's referring
Don't get caught
to
up in-
back when he put it
Don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in
okay.
detail.
This is
Yes.
the timing.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
Alright.
pulling a sleight of handery.
Okay.
He's retconning.
Okay.
A little bit. Just a little bit. It's only because
That's
the
fine.
story progressed while I was trying to figure all this out.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So
He's
So
shenanigating.
back when he put the astrolabe away,
He really.
you noticed that he didn't put it in the bag of holding. He put it in his coat pocket.
correct.
shenanigate.
Irving kind of raises.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Correct.
Even though
She
my character doesn't know this?
Correct.
Shenanigan.
she would take note, and that doesn't seem quite normal, but she's not alarmed yet.
Gonna call you out on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So then the second part,
Okay. Yeah.
it would probably be easiest to wait until you get somewhere where you can sit and complete that part. Do you want to try to do it
Can I
while you're
do it
walking?
I don't. I don't see any reason why I couldn't do it while we're walking.
No, you could. You could. It's just that, like, you don't know, like, if you're around a corner and you start working, like, whether or not the people behind you might see by the time you get back. I mean, you don't think the people
Well,
behind you...
a minute long casting, I'm not going to be able to hide that from whoever's watching.
No.
I'm not even going to try.
Okay. So at some point in the middle of the walk, you start casting?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does Irving see?
Well, all of you, because I'm not trying to hide this one.
Yeah, everybody
you just
sees
see
him
me pull a
casting.
hammer out, and I just start casting a spell on it. And after about a minute, it suddenly sprouts arms and legs.
Okay.
And Matisse
And
goes,
it just kind of hops down onto the ground and starts following us.
Okay.
Sort of like the monodrone.
Like your little bird.
Yeah, just like
It's just a little walking hammer.
yep.
Okay.
One of his little constructs.
Sure.
See if anybody comments on it.
You see a couple of people that are rubbernecking, kind of look down, and they seem curious. They're kind of pointing and like smiling.
That's good. That means that these people aren't magically steeped in the same ways that we are. That this is something unusual.
No, I mean there are constructs that you've seen on the streets. So
Right.
constructs are not uncommon.
Right.
Probably more sophisticated on their with their culture than ours.
Yeah, they have some constructs that look to be very large for like construction projects and things like that, and then there are smaller ones that are more utility based. I mean, you haven't seen any as small as one that you're using right now, but
So it's just like, oh, that's so adorable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're approaching the council chamber building,
Okay.
and unless you tell me otherwise, Galmore leads you inside.
Okay. As we step through the doorways, this I am going to try to do circumspectly.
Okay, I mean we'll do another sleight of hand.
as best possible. I give the bag of holding to the little tiny servant, and he's already got his instructions, so off we should go.
Okay, I don't know that you could hide that at all. But you give the instructions and
Yeah, it's just kind of be nonchalant, be casual about it,
okay.
and he
So
should go.
it's not hiding the construct.
it is hiding.
Oh, it is hiding.
It's
Okay.
going to have to. Its instructions. Its instructions are to go and hide until it sees us. Until it sees us come back.
Okay, so you have to have it make a stealth check. So you guys see Strax give the bag of holding to the construct, and then it has to make a stealth check.
A stealth check.
Yep.
Okay. Which I think it has a +3 on that. So dice, do not fail me again now. Dirty 20.
30-20. Okay.
Dirty.
So you're pretty sure that it's still in the building.
Mm-hmm.
You see it sort of like start to walk off toward like a hallway or something. And, there are a variety of different sculptures and paintings and mechanical devices that you're not sure what the nature of them are. But you try to look around to see where it goes, and you've kind of lost sight of it. I mean, you all saw this happen, but then when the construct moved off with the bag, it seems to have disappeared out of sight. I mean, you start like kind of trying to track it. You're like, I know it went in that direction, but it's hiding very well.
Great.
So Galmore, who is leading at the front of the group, didn't actually catch any of that. He's still kind of leading you forward.
Okay. Irving kind of nudges Janie.
She looks at Strax and telepathically goes, "What the hell did you just do?"
Insurance.
So Galmore splits off and basically talks to a person at a front desk and kind of leaves the two of you leaves your group alone for a moment while talking to somebody at our front desk.
What exactly are you doing?
Just hedging my bets.
Okay.
And you risk angering people, Strax, for no apparent reason.
They wouldn't be angry about this unless they make an issue of it first.
We hear the little hammer guy yowling in the distance.
It's not making any noise. It's being pretty stealthy.
Sounds an awful lot
Hammer
like a
guy
cat.
goes.
I don't understand why you can't just trust us.
I trust you. I don't trust them yet. Drop that spell out there.
So Galmar comes back from talking at the front desk. And he says, apparently the council is not in chambers today. There is an individual who is a member of the council who could speak with you, who is currently here in the office. There's always at least one member of the council in the building. The council as a whole is not here, though. Would you like to speak with a representative?
Well, we came all this way. We might as well.
Very well. Galmar goes back to the front desk person, and the front desk person sort of points down this hallway, and then Galmar says, "Please follow me." So you go down this long hallway. You go into a room where there's an open doorway, and you walk inside and you see another arcane sitting at a desk. This individual is wearing robes that do have a very small amount of armor on it. It's mostly just a breastplate and pauldrons, and that's really about it. And they see the group come in, and this arcane immediately has a look of surprise to see non-arcane walking into the office. And stands up and says, what is happening? Who are these people? He seems a little bit alarmed. And Galmar says, please, it is, they have a device that was made by one of our own that allowed them entrance through. And he's like, what do you mean allowed them entrance through? And Galmar continues to try to calm this man down. and eventually he does calm him down, and he kind of explains the situation. He talks about the artifact. You haven't said astrolabe yet. At least not the Galmar. And basically explains what your intentions are, that you just wanted, that you all thought it was important that somebody from the council, or that the council speak up to them about them. So this particular individual kind of calms down, and Galmar says, this is Representative Naman from the council. And he kind of turns, he says, Naman, these are my new friends.
Janie attempts to curtsy.
Okay.
Badly.
Arvine bows her head respectfully.
So does Matisse,
Okay.
Strax grunts.
which is not
We are the
unexpected.
least classy of the four.
Naman says, please excuse my my alarm. We came here for secrecy, and suddenly a bunch of outsiders walk into my office, and I was concerned about our security. I didn't know if this was some kind of an invasion, and I apologize. But Galmar has explained the situation. May I take a look at this artifact?
What would you do with it if you had it?
Verify that it is of the arcane.
You already did.
Arvine locks eyes with Janie. And thanks to her, your dummy brother hid it in his pocket.
Your dummy brother. Dummy mommy.
His dummy mummy.
You must excuse my brother, sir. I've been making excuses for him all day.
And I'm not telling you you need to.
We may look very different, but we come from a culture that is very untrusting. I'm sure you understand based on the fact that you ran to a place to be very protected from the world, that trusting outsiders is very troublesome for some.
You're
Stop, I'm trying to actually convince him not to hate you.
I don't care if he hates me. Look, I can describe the artifact to you, but I haven't got it right now. Too late.
Sarah's giving John the hand.
In our
Normally-
travels here, I'm pretty sure that my brother tucked the artifact away for safekeeping because he's afraid that someone will try to steal it from us.
Well, I suppose I can understand you being cautious. He kind of just nods to you. If you could please try to describe it in as much detail as possible.
That I can do.
So you give him a description.
I will give him an actually accurate a description as I can manage.
Okay. Naman says, it definitely sounds like it is of arcane construction, and I think maybe it dates back more than a couple thousand years based on my history. You see, he's straining in his head. He's really trying to think of like his he's trying to delve into his memories, and he says, I think this has to be at least a couple thousand years old, but I'm a little concerned that some member of our race constructed this in private, didn't share it with the council, and then somehow it got out into the universe and led people, no offense, to come through and find us where we are trying to hide from the world.
Well, we described the temple where we found it to your comrade. We were unsure as to the construction of the place where it was hidden. If we describe the temple, does...
Yeah, you and Galmore describe what it's like, and again, Niman says, yes, it is absolutely constructed by someone from the arcane.
Yeah. We actually saw that. Remember, Matisse used her memory. My friend has some skill with seeing the past. She saw
lifetimes, yeah.
visions of arcane fleeing that temple. It was under attack by other creatures native to that crazy planet.
Wait, hold on.
Right? Didn't it? Weren't there sandworms attacking when they fled?
But I don't think were they arcane? No.
We did see. He saw the arcane.
So, Chris, the DM, is trying to remember that, like, you guys went to the Drow Temple.
We did.
Matisse saw the Drow being attacked by a pit fiend or whatever creature that was.
Right.
This wasn't at the Drow Temple.
This was on
This
Arrakis.
was on Arrakis.
Right,
In
right.
the cave network of Arrakis, Matisse used her memory of 1,000 lifetimes and saw arcane fleeing the tunnel in the right direction that we learned we had to go in. And the arcane were fleeing because I believe sandworms were attacking.
Okay. Yes, that does sound familiar to me, to Chris, the DM.
Sorry, case memory.
No, that's okay. No, I mean, Matisse has used that a couple of times, and I was like, were they getting attacked? Like, I wasn't sure how I had written it, but I trust you.
Consult the campaign journal.
That's totally fine.
Would the astrolabe have...
Are you talking in character?
No, I'm talking as myself.
Okay, yes.
Would that have generated any memories for her if she had held it?
No.
Okay.
Because it's not a location.
The astrolabe itself is not a location.
How long ago was the council formed?
The council has been in operation for tens of thousands of years. It has been our way of... is jurisprudence a modern term?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It has been our way of ruling and of decision making in the best interest of our people for many, many thousands of years.
Have you been on it this whole time?
No.
He doesn't
No.
look 10,000 years old, brother.
I don't go by appearances
We don't know
anymore
how
these days.
old their species is.
Our race tends to live perhaps 100, 150 years.
Uh,
Okay.
Wow.
This is just knowledge. I mean, I study history to some degree, and some of what you say is very intriguing because it does sound like things that were constructed, again, perhaps a couple thousand years ago.
well, and see if you can riddle me this.
I will do my
And-
best.
Hopefully, I am not uncovering a DM plot hole. And some of my own research into this astrolabe, I've come across stories of other people finding it or using the astrolabe to find the spelljammer. Obviously, by your reaction, I'm going to assume that they never actually came here.
So forgive the DM again, but did I actually say that?
I seem to recall you saying that there were legends of other people finding
The spelljammer.
the spelljammer.
Trying to find
Not
the
the
spell,
astrolabe.
not the astrolabe. In fact, the Oracle of Fire didn't know, Medicaid says, that we had the astrolabe. We actually kept it because the Oracle of Fire said that he did not know of any way that existed to find the spelljammer.
Yes, that I remember that.
People have found the spelljammer.
Okay,
But-
so,
yeah.
revised question. Other people have found the spelljammer that this astrolabe brings us to. I assume, but they obviously never came here. So why did which means the spelljammer is not here. So why did it lead us here?
I have absolutely no idea. I would be very curious to find out.
I didn't even think that it wasn't here.
Maybe it's been here all
Make an
along
insight
and
check
people
on
don't know
Yeah,
it.
make an insight check.
Maybe there are multiple ways in and out of this
22.
dimension to get there.
22. You get a sense that Naman's study of history is this is very fascinating to him. This is piquing his interest, and that's really all you get from him with your insight is that he's genuinely curious. You don't detect any subterfuge or any weird stuff going on with him. Doesn't seem like he's hiding anything. I mean, he really wants to know. I mean, your question that you just asked, he is just as curious about that as you are. Like, why did it come here? It's obvious based on his body language and everything that the spelljammer isn't here as far as he knows. This is a place where they hid away, and they don't have the spelljammer. So he's like, why did this thing lead you here? He's just as curious as you are.
Matisse asks, has this place ever seen any wars or any other kind of strife that might be the reasoning behind why you're so protective of yourselves?
There has been no war since we came here. Since our sun went nova and we repopulated to this dimension, we have been safe and we have never had any visitors until now.
How long ago was that, roughly?
We have been here for about 8,000 years, I believe.
Okay. So, and out of character, in my previous studies, would you say it's been less than 8,000 years since people have found the spelljammer? I can make a history check for that if you want me to. Or if you just need to decide.
He just told us that it was probably about 2,000 years ago that those caves were built,
Good point.
Right.
and that the astrolabe is probably about 2,000 years old based on the technology that we described.
Okay.
Right. So, but what you already know, in addition to that, is that all throughout history, the spelljammer seems to appear and then disappear.
So it's probably going between dimensions.
And
It could be.
and like sometimes there are actual civilizations living on it, like races of people living on it, and other times it's rumored that it is basically just drifting and there's nobody on it. I mean, it's all shrouded with all this mystery and nobody knows any facts. And sometimes people think that it's been destroyed. And then, like centuries later, it suddenly appears in some other part of the galaxy. And they're like, wait, wasn't that destroyed? So it's very, very shrouded in mystery.
It's like Noah's Ark.
I mean, since before that 2,000 years, it was found many times. During the last 2,000 years, it's been found many times. And it just seems to just keep coming and going in the galaxy.
Okay, and just to reiterate, the Arcane did not build the Spelljammer, but they've just copied some of its technology.
Correct. That is essentially correct, yes.
Which means at one point the Arcane had to have found it.
Or maybe some part of it. Or maybe they were on it. I mean,
Right.
you have no idea.
They could have been a population that lived there at some point thousands of years ago.
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows how old the Spelljammer is. But at the same time, the Arcane have been building spelljamming technology for thousands of years.
Then maybe it's time to ask the question.
So, like where did they...
Get the spelljamming technology.
Right, or like how did they develop the technology?
What do they know?
Or like,
the Spelljammer?
did somebody take the technology from them and make the Spelljammer? Or like, did the chicken or the egg?
Which came first?
Which
Yeah.
came first?
The spelljammer or the Arcane's knowledge of it?
Seems to me we
Are
found
there-
the perfect person to ask the question.
Are
Ask that
there
question.
any records in your historical archives about the Spelljammer ship and its appearances, or do you record that type of history?
He says that he does, and he basically tells you everything that we just discussed about it appearing and reappearing, all the stuff that we just said. That's his knowledge of it.
So he has no direct
Relatively
knowledge
limited.
of the Arcane actually boarding the Spelljammer at any point, or locating its technology.
He's not aware of that, no.
Okay.
He does say that it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, like maybe 20, 30, 40,000 years ago. He doesn't know. But he thinks that's an interesting hypothesis, that maybe they developed the technology because they had found the ship at one point, but he doesn't know.
But to his knowledge, they developed the spelljamming technology themselves.
Correct.
Okay,
To his
not-
knowledge, they developed it on their own.
Okay, that's the point. The part I was trying to get to.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. It's a mystery.
I think we're going to start getting into some wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff here.
Oh, or dimensional stuff. Maybe we were led here because there's another portal somewhere to get directly there.
I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of.
So-
We were led here because the ship wants us here for some reason. Who knows?
So Naman says to you, he looks to you, Strax, and he says, I understand that you hid it for safety reasons. Was it still giving you a bearing within the city before you hid that?
I don't know if we know.
I didn't actually check before hiding it.
You know it was.
It was.
It was,
Okay,
correct.
I didn't. It would have been obvious.
It would have been obvious too, yes.
So
yes. It was still maintaining a bearing.
Yeah, it was pointing. Where's north in this place?
You point in a certain direction, and
It was
that's
kind
fine.
of that way.
He says, he turns to Galmore and he says, would you be willing to go with them and follow the leadings of this device and report back to me and let me know what you find? I mean, obviously this guy's working, so he can't leave. And Galmore says, he kind of turns to all of you and kind of looks at you and he's like, if you will allow me to go with you, then, and he looks back at Naman and he says, I will if they are okay with it.
Did
Apparently, that's not my decision to make. So whatever.
Did Galmore already convey to him our concern about the other parties pursuing this object and the Spelljammer?
We'll say yes. Sure, why not? We'll say that he explained that.
Okay,
in that
I just
process.
want to. Arvine would speak up about it if she didn't already watch him.
Yeah, we'll say that
So-
we'll say that Galmore covered that.
Okay.
And what happened to the people that were trailing us?
They didn't come in the building.
They did not come into the.
No, they did not come in the building. Nope.
Okay.
And are they still around?
Do you want to go outside and look?
As he steps out.
I think. Well,
I'll make a perception check. Perception.
Let's see, perception.
In the time since the arcane have come down here, do your people typically leave the dome?
Passive is higher.
What's your passive?
13.
13. You don't see them. What was your question again, Sarah? Sorry.
In the time since the arcane have fled to the dome, do people typically do the arcane typically come and go, or do they typically stay put?
Are you asking Galmore or Naman?
Yeah, either or.
Okay.
Maybe Naman. He seems to know more about the history.
He says, we have developed a certain kind of technology that is unheard of in the galaxy, that we guard it's very secretive, that allows us to travel in a manner unknown. And arcane do come and go from here, but not by any means that you would ever know.
Is it made out of metal? No.
I mean, you don't need to have an insight to see that he's obviously trying to guard a very important secret, something about their culture.
I wonder if it's similar to the things that the Oracle told us about the Spelljammer.
It transports like beaming up Scotty.
yeah.
Beaming up Scotty, yeah.
It was
He's not trying to hide the fact that he's trying to hide.
Yeah. Sensitive topics.
Yes,
Arcane
sensitive topic.
says that about the Spelljammer, and that's all she says, because she's not going to reveal it.
That's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know.
It might be the same thing.
I guess, do we go and...
I would say we go and have Galmore continue to escort us and see where
being followed,
the artifact
too.
wants to lead us.
Yeah, the escort's not a bad idea, I guess.
And if we still have our visitors that were tailing us.
The others, yeah. Well, I'm more worried about the visitors that might show up through the portal where we came from.
Naman says, I'm very excited to learn what you find, so I will be here for the remainder of the day. And Galmar says, thank you very much for your time. And then kind of turns to go. You all follow him out? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you all go back outside.
Little hammer should have popped up when he came into view.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, as you come into the door, the little hammer dude comes out with a bag of holding.
You can carry it for a while. I'm tired.
You're gonna let the construct carry it?
It lasts for an hour.
Okay.
Might as well.
Okay. You're probably in there for like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Shaking my head. As we're coming out of the door,
Yeah.
I hang back and I grab my brother by the back of the shirt.
Oh boy. Here we go.
What
and I
is
kind
your
of square
problem?
up nose to nose with him, which is hard because he's a lot taller than me and I'm pretty tiny.
Nose to chest.
Nose to chest. And I go, if you pull anything like that again, you're going to find out what I'm like when I don't stand up for my family and I do out you in front of a council member.
I just pat her on the head, say, trust your brother. And keep going.
I cast Mind Sliver on him.
Okay. Go ahead. Is it a saving throw or something? Or?
Intelligence saving throw.
Oh my.
It's his high stat.
Yeah. We have infighting.
23.
Okay, he
Ooh.
passed.
Well done, sir. Well done.
I'm going to assume that she's done this to you before, so you feel the attempt.
You still do have to.
Definitely, no, it's a cantrip.
Matisse looks at all
You
the
definitely
team.
feel the attempt.
And
And you
shakes
know
her
she's
head.
not joking.
Well, what else can we do?
It's like an angry teddy bear.
Continue to look for a bit and see what we learn. You know, we will need to rest at some point later. But
And just be mindful.
And as she lets go of you, she punches you right in the astrolabe that's in your jacket. And she keeps going.
What were you saying, Greg?
I was saying that we should also be on the lookout for our followers.
Yeah.
yeah, RV,
Yeah.
RV very much is.
Okay, so
I hope that hurt.
Galmore sees the construct and says, "That is very interesting.
Cute, isn't he?
You made this.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. It's slightly less complex than the ones that we have constructed, but
He just called you simplistic.
Don't you forget about me.
Well, I can do better if I have more time and materials.
My laugh just
in my head, I was like, he would try to avoid the word primitive.
Yes.
So I was trying to find another way to say
It's only a 3rd level spell.
I could have said elementary.
Okay, so he continues to lead you through the streets, and he's basically he brings you outside, and he goes maybe a block away, and he turns to you and basically says, "We need the astrolabe to give us a bearing."
All right. I got the astrolabe out of the bag.
Okay.
So you have to do another sleight of hand for that?
No. Unless you're trying to stop everybody from seeing you pull it out of your jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, so you hold the astrolabe, and basically it orients itself and is pointing in a certain direction. So so the group of you together start to move in that direction.
That way, to the lake.
The plane, boss, the plane.
The plane.
No, that way, to the lake.
So Arvine, you do notice the pair of armored arcane following. They're like 70 feet behind you, but they're following you.
Arvine kind of quietly says his tracks our friends are back. Do you think you could help determine if they are what they look like they should be?
Well, if I got a little time to polish up my monocle, I think.
What do you want to? What are you casting? I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to attempt to ritual cast detect magic. If we're walking for 10 minutes,
They're under an illusion spell, in theory, that would show, right?
Yeah, the idea being is I can look to see what's magical. It's probably going to be most everything here. But if I focus on them, I can see what magic is, what magic they are radiating. And if it's illusion magic, then I'll know there's a problem.
Okay. Following the astrolabe, you can cast while you're walking,
Okay.
and
We're walking.
you walk more than 10 minutes, so you finish the spell, and you do sense a presence of magic all around you. What's the range on it?
30 feet.
30 feet. Okay, so they're still 70 feet behind you.
Okay. So just
Fall
kind of
back.
stop. Yeah, kind of stop and take a little break. You just kind of pretend I'm being awed. by
Okay,
the
they
things
seem
around
to stop
me.
and maintain that distance.
Oh, that sucks.
They're smart.
They just start kind of having a conversation, and their eyeballs keep glancing over to you as they sit there and they talk to one another.
Janie, what's the range on your spell that would hold people where they are?
You think I'm being?
In case it becomes relevant.
Okay.
I'm not saying
60
this is
feet.
definitely what we do.
That's close.
Whole person 60 feet. I can get up to 2 people.
Close.
If I cast at 3rd level, I can do 2 at once.
I suddenly find myself fascinated by a construct that is walking back the way we came a little bit.
Okay, are you guys moving together back toward?
Arvine kind of
I just kind of.
sidles in by Galmar.
They can wait for me.
So we still have the same 2 friends following us who were following us before.
I see.
We're trying to determine if they're actually
Janie
one of your
does
people.
a series of cartwheels
Okay.
down the street in the way that we just came for about, 15 feet.
Okay.
And as she comes out of them, which would put me about 60
Sure.
feet from them,
Sure.
she casts a 3rd level person on those 2 guys.
And you call
What's the
me
save?
rash.
That would be a
Until
wisdom
you
saving
use it.
throw, which is probably a good stat for them, but we'll try it anyway.
What's the DC?
18.
18. Okay.
Hey, you're the one who didn't want me to start anything. Whatever. It's not like I can stop her.
Okay. So you cast the spell, and they're obviously feigning in conversation with one another, and then they both kind of stop moving.
Nice.
Arvine
Well
kind of
done.
watches this happen and looks at Galmar and says, well,
And
Perhaps we should hurry along our way then.
And Matisse busts out
take a quick
laughing.
look.
And says,
wanna get
Well, it's
Well, 30
already
feet.
up and running, so we
Yeah,
might as well.
but while they're held, you might as well look and see if they have illusion magic on them.
and then Matisse says, well done, Janie.
You detect magic from them, but it is not illusion magic.
It is not illusion.
Correct. Yeah.
It's indeterminate.
It's indeterminate. Yes.
Okay, which is a valid result.
Yeah.
This means it doesn't fall under any particular school.
Are they only held while you stay within range of them?
It's up. It's concentration up to a minute.
Right, but they have to stay within 60 feet for you to hold them?
Usually.
I don't know if I don't know how that works exactly.
It doesn't say.
No, usually it's just for the
It does
initial
say at the
cast.
end of each turn they can make another wisdom saving throw, but
Right. I mean that might hasten your pace a little bit then.
Right.
To
Yeah.
try to hurry up.
but
Yeah.
I would say let's just hurry.
She has them frozen.
Well,
I'd love to find out if they were under
You
an
tried.
illusion, but you said it wasn't illusion magic. Okay.
All right, so I made another save while you were doing the detect magic. They're still standing there, frozen.
okay.
Okay, so Galmore kind of quickens his pace a little bit, and he's still trying to calm people as he goes, but because he feels a little more urgency right now, he's doing it much quicker and just
They're picking up on
just with like some hand gestures and whatnot. He's like, it's fine, everything's fine, and he kind of hastes things along a little bit. People are you're getting a little bit more rubbernecking than before because he's not taking quite as much time as he was to calm everybody down, but nobody's being aggressive. Nobody seems hostile. So
I can use my
prestidigitation.
I've
Say
never
the
gonna learn
word.
to say that word. To like make little like cute sparks and fireworks and things as we go if it like impresses people and maybe makes them be like ooh ah.
People, again, they are a largely magical race, and they find that to be interesting. People kind of point and smile. Some are a little bit more.
Well, my 3-year-old can do that.
My 6-month-old can do
Because I can use it to do like a shower of sparks and puffs of wind and things.
Okay.
Like, make little music notes and like she'll be quirky and weird.
Okay.
They'll probably find that
Endearing.
cute, endearing. Yeah.
So at this point, Galmore starts to basically take a bunch of turns.
yeah.
Even though the astrolabe is pointing in a certain direction, he starts to veer on all these different paths.
Arvian was about to
Trying to
ask him
lose
if
him.
he could
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that too. Yeah. Good
So
call.
he does that, and he gets you around, and eventually you follow the astrolabe to what looks to be a dead end alley. Arvian, you don't see the two people that Janie had held. You feel pretty accurate that they were stuck there for at least long enough for you to get away. And so Galmore.
That might be the best call ever, though.
I just find it completely hilarious
Is that enough flair for some inspiration?
Sure. Take inspiration for that.
I just find it completely hilarious that she was just getting all on my case about making enemies, and then she goes and runs off and starts freezing people.
Ironically, Janie,
Good girl.
with all of her
I
flashiness,
paralyzed them.
and she's still more subtle than you.
I'm not trying to be subtle. I'm trying to be safe. There's a difference.
That's the point, Strax. Is that she does it subtly.
Actually, that's the sad part. Is he was trying to be subtle.
Strax.
But it was more, it
Drax is not subtle.
was more theatrical than it needed to be.
Oh no.
Oh, Sarah's broken.
John's turning
John's
around.
like, this is subtle for me.
Wow. Wow.
Just wait until I actually start playing a real rogue.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right.
Okay, so the astrolabe, it's pointing down this dead end alley.
Well, I think we can bust down a wall if we need to.
Let's search and see if there's a fake wall before we bust.
That takes time.
I mean,
So you basically Strax, you get within a couple feet of the wall, and you see another door that's 12 feet tall by 6 feet wide. It's like a black portal that just kind of opens up on the wall. You don't see anything inside. There's no light source. It's just
Oh,
like
so like
it's
the
just
tree might
black.
have been like a portal too.
one could hope.
I wonder if I'll get to fight my shadow self again. This will be cool.
Oh dear.
So it's dark as far as we
It's
can
dark,
tell?
yeah.
Okay. RV
But
lights.
I have dark vision.
It's like the light stops at that plane.
RV lights her sword just in case. It says, shall we?
Yeah, not all of us have dark vision things.
Okay. So the light doesn't penetrate into the doorway.
Okay. Well, just in case.
Sure,
have a chance
sure.
on that. So, and she looks to Galmor and says, "Thank you for helping us to lose them. Are you coming with us?"
If it's all right with you, I'm very curious of where this goes.
How long has it been? How long have
Cabinets
we been
of
walking?
curiosities.
You've been walking about 20 minutes.
Okay. Hey, little hammer dude. Go in there. Wait about 10 seconds and come back.
Oh dear.
Okay. The construct, your little walking hammer,
Yep.
walks
hammer is
through. About 10 seconds later, walks back out.
Well, nothing will immediately kill us, and he's going to jump on us anyway.
Might as well. We have
Covered in
portable
blood.
atmosphere.
No.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah, it only has 10 hit points, so if anything kind of sneezes on it.
Right. Okay. So we go through.
So you go through. Okay. Okay, so you're all going through this door.
Into the darkness.
What happened to? Yeah, Chris is doing the music. It's like it's quiet. It's strangely quiet.
Too quiet.
Right.
Bringing in the strings section.
Which means danger. / fighting.
So you step through the door, and basically it's like this big open space where you don't see any walls. Everything is just black. But there is some kind of ambient light which allows you to see about 60 feet ahead of you. There is a gargantuan construct of some kind. And it appears to be standing in front of a arcane-sized door, just like the ones that you've been using, that the astrolabe creates. It's about 12 feet tall, about 6 feet wide, and there's this gargantuan construct standing there. And you can see the door behind you that you just came in, and you can see the construct and the door that's behind the construct. And everything else around you is black. But there is some kind of ambient light that allows you to basically see what looks like a marble floor in front of you. But everything, it's a little bit dim in here. But again, you can see all the way across the chamber to where this construct is. And that is what you see.
Is the light on Arvine's sword working in here?
Yes, it is. So it is brighter around your immediate area. Yes.
Does the door close after we walk inside together?
Once Strax gets the astrolabe about 6 feet from the door closes.
Can you reopen the door back where we came from?
Might be a good idea. I'll give it a try.
You step back toward where the door was. It reopens.
All right. Let's see. Back to my inventory here. What else have I got here hanging about?
And you can see the end of the alley looking through the door.
It probably isn't a bad idea that we let the door be closed in case we have any stragglers following us still.
Not have anybody.
I mean, it will be closed unless you just sit the astrolabe on the floor next to it and leave it there.
Strax might want, he might be setting a beacon just like we did when we first came.
Yep.
That
I reach
would
in
be on
my-
our
yeah.
side of the door.
Yep, I reach in my pocket and I pull out a tiefling horn.
Okay.
I've still got 12 of those sitting in my pocket. Way
Gross.
bad.
Also,
Tiefling horn, okay.
And I kind of tinker with it a little bit, add a few bits and bobs, and it starts making that little pinging noise.
Okay.
And I go and I set it over by the door.
Okay. So that when you walk away and it disappears, you can basically go back
I still
and
know
find
the
it.
door.
know where
Okay.
we came from.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds good. You
Alright,
set up your little artificer beacon.
Galmor and say this construct, is this something you're familiar with?
You see he's kind of lost in thought and like amazement for a moment, and you catch his attention, and he says, I'm sorry, what?
This construct between us and possibly another doorway we need to go through, is this something you're familiar with? Is this a type of guardian used by your people or something like this?
It is very similar. It is custom made, I would say, by someone of our race, but it is very similar. It does look like one of our guardian constructs, but it is larger than what I'm used to seeing.
Does it appear to be deactivated, or do you think this is something where if we go close to it, it may?
It will activate once you get within, depending on the creator specifications. Once you get close enough to it, it will activate.
Can these creatures be reasoned with?
Again, it really depends on how the creator has set it up. It could attack on as soon as someone gets within a certain range. It could perhaps communicate. It could have some kind of a mechanism or a device used to allow passage. It really depends on the person who created it. I
Would you know any standard command words that might be used?
there are some more common ones, and I could try them.
We could try it.
Do you have any advice for how to fight one if it comes to that? And are you okay with us potentially destroying it if we're forced to?
I would be relying on all of you to save my life if that attacked. So you can do whatever you feel is necessary to ensure our safety.
We would protect your life with
right.
ours.
Well,
That is appreciated.
let's go talk to the rock.
Talk the rock to the rock.
See if we can.
Okay, so you move up to this creature, and you get within 10 feet of it, and it's basically, it kind of looks like an iron golem, where the entire thing seems to be constructed of steel, and it has a very large sword, and it has sort of like a faceplate, which is sort of like what you would think of a stereotypical suit of armor to have, where it has like a slit that goes across the front where the eyes are.
So what you're saying is it's made out of metal.
Yes, it is made out of metal. It is definitely made out of metal.
You're going to heal it some more, Strax.
Probably.
And
Stop trying to throttle me in absentia. There.
when you get within 10 feet, like, that slit, it lights up red, and then it collapses into a point that starts going back and forth, kind of like the Knight Rider car.
Cylons?
And it's moving back and forth, and you hear all these mechanical things turning and cranking and
Hey, GH88.
Irving kind of fans
You know
out
what
to
they
the
say?
side.
GH88's eye screen says no.
Irving
I thought we broke
motions that Atish
GH88.
should fan
I
out
fixed him.
to the side.
Yeah.
Can I cast
Don't keep
greater
the party.
invisibility on
Giamatti or whatever his name is.
Galmore?
Galmore
Yeah.
before all this happens
Sure.
to protect him?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to cast greater invisibility on him.
Okay. So slight retcon.
Yeah.
Janie cast that on him.
I meant to say it, but my
No, that's
mouth was
fine.
full of cookie.
That's fine. He's more than happy to accept it.
Just don't
Engage.
engage in anything, and they won't be able to see you.
Oh, don't worry, I won't.
Okay.
Although with Greater, he actually could.
Well, you just have to hope this
It
thing
stays
isn't-
up until you...
True, but
Hit something. What?
he's obviously not a fighter of any
Right.
kind.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it so that the thing doesn't know where he is.
As this thing is starting to activate, Arvina is having Matisse, and she is fanning around to the side so that the group isn't grouped all together, for us having seen constructs recently that had area effects that were cones and
Probably
stuff
not a
like
bad
that.
idea.
So,
Yep.
so you hear the cranking and the gears and everything moving, and like the different plates of its armor and everything shift, and it kind of goes from almost like this kind of crouched guard position to like standing up straight, and you hear this voice come out of it, and it seems to be directed at you, Strax,
Have the fin.
Yeah.
and it says,
We'll let him do the talking.
Now you can talk.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
It says, "Greetings, Joran. Please speak the pass phrase."
Give me 2 seconds. That name sounds familiar.
You have 30
How's
seconds
Gilmore going to use the...
to speak the passphrase.
I'm checking my notes.
Well, he can still talk, and even
Yeah.
if he's invisible.
Yeah.
So, John, you actually have 30 seconds here to speak the passphrase.
The name sounded familiar, but it wasn't Jorn, it was Maloran. Okay.
You've never heard this name.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of says, Galmore,
you have
do you
20
have
seconds.
any phrases Trax could try?
Galmore starts saying,
Certain basic commands.
like, cease, desist. He starts saying all these commands, and nothing seems to be working. He says, it's something specific to the creator.
Jorn.
You have 10 seconds.
Jor-El.
Arvian says Spelljammer.
I'd like to make a quick intelligence.
Please speak
18
the passphrase.
18 intelligence check for a clue. I don't suppose I know.
You have not
Spelljammer.
complied.
Say creator.
Prepare to die.
All right, well, that was going to happen. I like it this way anyway better.
It starts stepping forward towards Strax with its sword ready.
Well then. I cast magic missile.
Well, see if we can run past him through the door. No, I want to take this thing out.
Okay, so just doing a time check here. This is probably a good place to stop.
Oh no.
I mean,
Dun dun dun. To be continued.
a fight could probably easily take an hour and a half.
Right. So, okay, so I was going to have you guys go to 16th level at the end of this.
We could fight this thing.
I mean, I can redo the encounter if you want to level so that it matches, or we can just have the fight and then you can level after. I'll give the choice to all of you. Would you rather level now and I'll modify the encounter, or would you rather stay this level and fight it and then you can become 16th level after?
See if I get anything fancy.
I'd probably vote for leveling, but I got an ability score increase for a feat, so...
I think we might. Well,
I mean, it's
It
up
might
to
be
you.
I know we're
useful.
both getting ability
Yeah.
score increases. I don't know about him.
It doesn't
Probably
matter
is.
to me either way. I can do it either way.
He probably is. I know he gets his 4th level spells.
Not necessarily, because
I mean,
this is
we're-
a dip fighter for a few levels. So, come on,
Creepy music.
work with me here.
This is
No,
very
you said
much
you
like
dipped fighter as far as you were going
belongs
to
in
go.
a haunted
Yeah.
house music.
True.
So I'm going up the.
Is
I was
it-
thinking it was like in Poltergeist or
Yeah,
something like that.
you said got you 4th level.
Yeah, I think it's I have a mysterious folder.
Yeah, it does give me.
I was trying to see what I would do
Nine Sanctum.
if I chose a feat. The feat. The
That's pretty
feat.
much all I get. Oh, and my
I like my feet.
proficiency goes up.
So Sarah, what is your vote? Do you want to level now or level after the fight?
I could go either way.
Kate, do you have a vote?
I'd say now because it's easier to level now than in the middle of an adventure the next time.
John, do you have a vote?
Stick to the schedule.
Say what now?
Stick to the
He says
schedule.
now.
Now? Okay. Greg?
Now seems fine.
Okay. Why don't you all roll your hit points and we'll do that before we sign off.
Okay.
So everybody is 16th level?
Yay, 16 level!
All right. Manage character and levels.
Sarah, do you want to roll? We'll go around the table. We'll have you roll first.
Yes, I was trying to remember what hit dice I roll. You'd think I'd figure this out by now.
What is sorcerer? Is a D8?
Yeah. D6.
D6, okay.
I rolled average.
You rolled average? Okay, yep, so you get 4.
But, well, if you roll under average, we take average.
Correct.
So
Yeah, Sarah rolled a 3, so she's going to get the average, which is 4.
which is
Okay.
4.
Kate,
All right,
what
Arby.
level are you doing? Are you fighter or
Arvian's
rogue?
Taking level 8 of rogue.
Level 8 of rogue,
Yeah.
okay.
So she's gonna roll her D8.
Okay.
She got a 7.
7, that's pretty good.
So that's pretty sweet. All right.
John, are you taking level in fighter?
I am taking a level in artificer. I've got what
Artificer.
I want out of fighter. So.
Okay, cool.
I'm a builder, not a fighter. And I also got a 7. Look at that.
Nice. Greg is playing a paladin, straight up, so go ahead and... Was it D10?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Oh,
Don't throw the die at your
I
face.
know where it went. Oh, wait. It's by Sarah.
Oh.
Very dexterous toes.
I don't have dexterous toes. That's the problem.
Do you want to use another die, Greg?
He's like, no.
I mean, it could be your hit point
Here.
die. I don't know.
Okay.
There you go.
I got it. Now it smells like my feet.
Ugh.
Maybe you should use
Okay,
another
so
die.
Greg rolled a 2, so he's going to get the average, which is 6.
Okay, managed hit spot. Okay, so
All right.
that goes to...
That gets me up to 126 hit points.
119.
126 for the Artificer Fighter. And what are you at, Greg? $149, it looks
Yes.
like, for the Paladin. Janie, what are you at?
145 for the sorcerer that took tough
Yes.
because crunchy.
What is Arvine at?
157.
157. All right.
16.
Cool. Well, with that, let's say goodnight to the listeners.
Good night,
listeners. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a review anywhere this podcast can be found. Our social media links, plus additional content, can be found on our website at knightsofroleplay.com. Please tell your friends about Knights of Roleplay and Adventuring Podcast, and spread the word through social media. Your help and support are greatly appreciated.